eva jaham. I am seated in the hearts of all living beings, and from me come memory, knowledge, as well as forgetfulness. I alone am to be known by all the Vedas. I am the author of the Vedanta and the knower of the meaning of the Veda. All aspects we would not have touched. Some aspects we have done. The theme in this shloka describes how consciousness operates. You all remember wherever Papa defines the subtle and mysterious energy, God, Atman, in the form of life force, in the form of consciousness, in the form of intelligence. So we take that consciousness. The theme in this shloka clearly describes how consciousness operates. One as the ever-present source of illumination in life, and the other as the guiding force behind human resilience and recovery. Consciousness as light. It nourishes, provides warmth, facilitates knowledge, just as the sun sustains life on earth. It dispels ignorance and enables clarity. Consciousness through reflection. In moments of deep distress, caused by the death of a close relative or friend, or the irritation of feeling hurt over the behavior of somebody or loss of any kind, reflection and support from others help the mind process, making way for healing. Forgetfulness in this sense is not mere loss, but a function of consciousness allowing renewal and adaptation. Just as the sun gives life externally, consciousness acts as inner light, guiding us through darkness, gradually restoring balance. Now, all these things are philosophy, So through the example, we will try to understand the philosophy, and again we will go through that. All gadgets become alive and useful only when connected to electricity. Different types of appliances, often serving opposite purposes, providing distinct utilities. However, simply having access to electricity is not enough. One must also know how to use, control, manage the fluctuations of both power and gadgets. Otherwise, both the energy and the appliance lose their relevance. The moment power is switched off, everything comes to a standstill. At the same time, we must recognize that electricity is useful only through functional gadgets. Just as spiritual energy is realized only through a refined mind and body. Additionally, the ability to forget is an essential prerequisite for acquiring new knowledge. Holding on too tightly to old notions can hinder progress, just as a device overloaded with outdated data slows down its efficiency. This signifies the need for a harmonious blending of power and appliances for the benefit of society. Likewise, material science and spiritual science must go hand in hand. Only then can an individual, Mother Nature and society function in harmony, fostering a well-ordered, healthy, peaceful life. So this particular sloga touches and kindles in us. Recognize the guiding force behind everything. And here in this chapter, 15th chapter, when he talks about I am there in everybody, in many slogas he says, but here he particularly brings out that this knowledge, memory and forgetfulness, they are also given by him. Previously we were thinking that this forgetfulness helps us because we come from our old birth. We are finding it difficult to adjust with the present relationship with the co-creations. Suppose we have to remember our older birth. Think about the chaos. Again, before that, another one. All our near and dear relations, friends, our encumbrances, our wealth, our so many things, my. We were thinking that that is why he blessed us with the forgetfulness. But after deep study, we also understand, so that is also valid. But at the same time, forgetfulness does not mean the forgetfulness that we normally understand. In order to move forward, I have to forget about the obsolete. If I cling on to that, I will not be able to move forward. So the very new innovative ideas are coming, When there was no locomotive, no steam engine, the steam engine came. Then, where do we get the power? You have to put water, so many things, charcoal. Then the next came the diesel. And now it has come to power driven. So in anything and everything, whatever we use, suppose we go back to 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, we are adapting to do new things, We are not clinging back to the old one. So forgetfulness is also it also stands for this, not merely forgetting. Think about it. It is God who is giving us the indwelling into love. God, He gives us discovery, invention, innovation. But at the same time, He doesn't stop with that. There is a process going on. The areas where the discovery has not taken place, He goes. Areas where the invention, the areas where the innovation, it keeps on expanding. Behind everything, He is there. Sarvasya Chaham. And I am seated in your heart. Heart means not the physical. Normally, in Vedantic language, heart is considered as the seat of feelings. Right side, normally they say, not left, right side. Sarvasya cha aham kriti sannivishto mattas pratajnanam abohanam cha. So he is behind everything. So here Veda we can also say as knowledge, both spiritual as well as mundane knowledge. Everything springs from Him. So whenever a new thing comes, we can say, oh, yes, He has prompted somebody to bring it out. So that is why the word consciousness is used in this explanation. But easy to understand, otherwise we may think something else. How consciousness operates. God operates in the form of consciousness. One as the ever-present source of illumination and life, and the other as the guiding force. It nourishes, provides warmth, facilitates knowledge. Just as the sun sustains life on earth, it dispels ignorance, enables clarity. And here, this is in moments of deep distress caused to pay the death of a close. Suppose, on that particular day when we lose a person whom we who is very close to us. On that day, we feel definitely there's a shock. But if we have to continue with the same mindset, can we continue? So how does it get diluted as days go by? There also we can say is forgetfulness. Suppose somebody says something and we feel hurt. Suppose we carry it over throughout our life. Who is the loser? So this every sloka we are looking at from our day-to-day life standpoint. So in moments of deep distress caused by the death of a close relative or friend, irritation or feeling hurt over the behavior of somebody, or loss of any kind, a business loss. Reflection and support from others help the mind process pain, making way for healing. Forgetfulness in this sense is not mere loss, but a function of consciousness allowing the renewal and adaptation. Just as the sun gives life externally, consciousness acts as an inner light, guiding us through darkness, gradually restoring balance. And the example, all gadgets, where from it has come? It has come from intelligence only, innovative ideas. It becomes alive and useful only when connected to electricity. Different types of appliances. Cooler will be there, heater will be there. Often serving opposite purposes, providing distinct utilities. However, simply having access to electricity is not enough. One must also know how to use, control, manage the fluctuations of both power and gadgets. Otherwise, both the energy and the appliance lose their relevance. The moment the power is switched off, everything comes to a standstill. Sarvasya jaham. Something like electricity. We are all gadgets. At the same time, we must recognize that electricity is useful only through functional gadgets. Just as spiritual energy is realized only through a refined mind and body. He is there, he has been with us. But we should know now, realize it. Additionally, the ability to forget is an essential prerequisite for acquiring new knowledge. Holding on too tightly to old notions can hinder progress, just as a device overloaded with outdated data slows down its efficiency. Outdated data. So this signifies the need for a harmonious blending of power and appliances for the benefit of society. Likewise, material science and spiritual science must go hand in hand. Only then can individual, Mother Nature and society function in harmony, fostering a well-ordered, healthy, peaceful life. That is why they recognize the guiding force behind. before we go to the next, Trividam Naragasir, Varam Asha Atmana. Be watchful lest temptations ignite our weaknesses. That is the Trividam. Naragasyedam Dwaram Nashan Atmanaha Kama Krodastadha Lobas.
How do you ever train the way?
Jajed. We have to let us try to understand the meaning. Trividam. There are three, Trividam Naragasyedam Dwaram Nashanam Atmanaha Kama Krodastadha Lobas. Tasmat Yedatrayam Jajed. There are three gates leading to the hell of self-destruction for the soul. Lust, anger, and greed. Therefore, one should abandon all three. This passage highlights the three negative forces. Lust, not only lust means desire, anger and greed as gateways to self-destruction, draining one's inner potential and peace. The example of the husband and wife provides a practical application of how one can refine their response to avoid falling into these traps. In a given scenario, the wife expresses a desire for a car, and the husband has two choices: react with irritation or anger, which would escalate tension and disturb peace; respond with understanding and reasoning, which maintains harmony, by calmly explaining the financial situation and assuring her that her concern is valued. The husband neutralizes the potential conflict. This demonstrates refinement in thoughts, words, and deeds, turning a moment of potential discord into an opportunity for mutual understanding. The constant craving for more creates discontentment. When unfulfilled, it leads to frustration, desire, including lust. Constant craving for more creates discontentment. When unfulfilled, it leads to frustration. Anger arises when expectations are not met with, causing a storm in the mind. Greed, when desires are fulfilled, they often lead to more craving, eroding inner peace. Refinement, contentment, accepting the present situation instead of chasing endless desires. Equanimity, remaining calm and composed regardless of external triggers. Pause before acting, taking a moment to respond with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. So when we went through this, it need not cover the whole. It may not even touch one particular aspect clearly, but something has touched and kindled. That is what we want. And again, when we reflect more, probably we may be able to refine it more. So we are now in this process, we are not only trying to refine our mind, but also getting more and more connected to the methodology, the format. This is what we are trying. We are not getting stuck to the textual explanation only, though it guides us. It does guide us, no doubt about it. But we are not stopping there. Trying to immediately look at ourselves and the world around us, and what does it, how does it connect us? There are so many interpretations, so many commentaries by so many Mahatmas. Each Mahatma views it from their own standpoint. But here we are trying to connect it with the daily life. We need not necessarily be 100% perfect, but we are very optimistic that this process will definitely help us to gradually set the process of refining.
You bring harmony, Swami.
Eh?
That you bring harmony to your life.
Definitely harmony to our life. Definitely harmony to our life. Anything and everything, whenever we think about anything, the reflection. Papa's oft-quoted words, be reflective and meditative. The more you become meditative or reflective, the more nearer you are the springs of life, yeah. So that means this reflecting attitude, not merely at the superficial level. So you need a calm and quiet mind for that, a mind which is ready, receptive. And level will come. So many things will come, So when we are talking about these three, desires, anger and greed, how the Lord says you should abandon all these. Tejed. Etat trayam tejed. How to do that? So each one now will think, how will I do that? We go back to our own life and find out whether we have been successful. All of us must have been successful to some extent, because through experience God has been teaching us. All of us, or most of us, must have learned so many things from our experience, not from anything outside. Experience is the best teacher. So when we, with that, when we try to reflect, we will be able to the process. Not looking up to somebody else, looking at our own experience, at the various field where He has put us. As an individual, as a family person, as a professional, as a member of the society. In all these four levels, when we have reacted to events and individuals, we have definitely refined ourselves without knowing this. But we did not know the hand of God. But here we know He has been placing us. He has been subjecting us to go through various types of experiences to teach us, to teach us, to teach us. So that He is preparing ourselves to become His best devotee, best tool, best instrument. In between, He also made us to get in touch with a system. In our case, Nam Seva Dhyan, through our master. And that Nam Seva Dhyan also got, initially we were just chanting. Slowly we started knowing that we have to do something more. We used to evaluate what is happening to us. Still there is a lot of areas where we have to improve. So the quality of our chanting, our chanting should improve the quality of our life. How to do that? All of us are struggling. So these things in between, He is also giving us these. Everything in a comprehensive way we have to look, not as separate. And now he is prompting us to pick one sloga from one chapter and try to look at it from these angles and come out with our own idea. Just as a sculptor, when he has in his mind a form to be carved on a stone, first he searches for a suitable stone and then a piece, and then he brings it out to a size which he can operate. Then he places it in such a way that when he applies his chisel and hammer, it should not shake. Like that, slowly, one by one, he tries to make it perfect. And when the setting is perfect, he keeps on working out how to make it a reality from a conceptual level. Same thing we are doing. Now we are very, very clear, just like the sculptor. The life is before us, the life lived so far is before us. We are trying to connect it wherever it is possible. Whenever we are unable to understand, we again try and reflect. We would fail, but we are committed. And we go on perseveringly, we go on doing it. And suddenly we will find, oh, that is why he made me to pass through that. Previously we were naming it or labeling it as negative or positive, ups and downs. But now we will not do that. We know it was all ordained by him. Sarvasya Chaham, this is Vishnu. He is seated in all. He is the electricity. He makes us. He is there, and he is making us to become. If the instrument or the gadget is faulty, the expression will not be perfect. Because these are the things which he has placed before us: the gadgets, the electricity. We were just viewing it as a gadget and electricity. Now we are trying to see it with a different angle. It may stay only for a few seconds, but doesn't matter. It is worth it. Because there is a tendency in us now to connect. We may not be able to sustain immediately. So that is how it goes. And the last one is 17. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. Shraddhamayayam purusho yo. Yachruda sa eva. The faith of each is in accordance with his nature. The man consists of his faith. Such as a man's faith is, so is he. This is in the 17th chapter. This theme beautifully highlights the interplay between faith, personality, and life's achievement. To broaden it, we can explore deeper dimensions. Faith as self-fulfilling prophecy. Faith is not just belief, but a powerful force that shapes reality. A person who deeply believes in their potential naturally channels effort, discipline, and resilience toward their goals. This in turn refines their abilities, reinforcing their faith. Conversely, weak faith or misplaced faith leads to stagnation or misdirection. How much it is related to our life? Just imagine this particular slogan. Faith is not static. It evolves through experiences, influences, conscious effort. A person born into disorderly habits may initially lack the faith to live a structured life. However, exposure to disciplined individuals and witnessing the fruits of their efforts can instill a new faith in orderliness, commitment, excellence. This refined faith then reshapes their personality and actions. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes that faith conforms to the nature of the mind. A sattvic mind naturally develops faith in truth, duty, higher ideas. A rajasic mind gravitates towards ambition, passion, external success, while a tamasic mind anchors faith in laziness and ignorance. Hence, refining the mind is key to refining faith. Faith is nurtured by the company we keep and the influences we absorb. A person in a disciplined environment develops faith in diligence. A person surrounded by distractions and irresponsibility may initially lack this faith but can transform when exposed to higher ideas. This highlights the power of association and conscious choice in shaping one's faith and ultimately one's destiny. Faith fuels effort, effort refines ability, refined ability strengthens faith. This cycle continually molds a person. If this cycle is positive, it leads to mastery and self-growth. If negative, it reinforces limitation and mediocrity. Recognizing this cycle allows one to consciously direct it towards self-improvement. All of you must know this, but again, we thought we would repeat it. A famous tightrope walker once set up a rope across a deep canyon and announced he would walk across it. A huge crowd gathered to watch. With perfect balance, he walked from one side to the other, and the crowd erupted in applause. When he took a wheelbarrow and asked, "Do you believe I can push this across?" The crowd cheered, "Yes, we believe." He smoothly pushed the wheelbarrow across and returned. Next, he filled the wheelbarrow with heavy rocks and asked, "Do you still believe I can do it?" The crowd shouted, "Yes, we believe." And he successfully pushed it across. Finally, he emptied the wheelbarrow, turned to the crowd, "Who will sit inside while I push?" Suddenly there was silence. No one stepped forward. Faith is not just about cheering from the sidelines. It is about stepping into the wheelbarrow. We may say we believe in God, His plan, His guidance, but do we trust Him enough to surrender completely? True faith is not just acknowledging His power, but offering ourselves, our thoughts, words, and deeds to be refined in His hands. Would you step into the wheelbarrow? One slogan, innocent. How does it touch and kindle? Just imagine. Anurupa, Sattva Anurupa. Sarvasya Shraddha Bhavati Bharam. Shraddhamayoyam Purusho Yo Yachetasa Evasa. The faith of each is in accordance with his nature. Now we are looking at this. It's an innocent, it looks to be an innocent slogan, but how deep it is. The man consists of his faith. As a man's faith is, so is he. But this theme beautifully highlights the interplay between faith, personality, and life's achievement. To broaden it, we can explore deeper dimensions. We have to connect it with our daily life, then only this can be understood. Every time when the master said, something in the class, we believed, in the text, in the teacher. Everything starts from faith. But how does it? Whenever I think I have failed, what happened? I just go back and see. So go back to your own life and then hear this. This thing beautifully highlights the interplay between faith, personality, and life's achievements. To broaden it, we can explore deeper dimensions. Faith is not just belief, but a powerful force that shapes reality. A powerful force. A person who deeply believes in their potential naturally channels effort, discipline, and resilience towards their goal. Where from this perseverance comes justification? Patience comes where from? You have to apply your mind. Otherwise we are just hearing and going. It will not stay with us. This in turn refines their abilities, reinforcing their faith. Conversely, weak faith or misplaced faith leads to stagnation or misdirection. You immediately change, Faith is not static. It evolves through experiences, influences, conscious effort. Please think over these three words. Experiences, influences, conscious effort. A person born into disorderly habits may initially lack the faith to live a structured life. Because of the over-dominance of this guna. Person is good, but he doesn't know that. Everything should be kept in an orderly pace. All of you must have so many such people, and later on how they improve themselves. It evolves through, faith is not static. It evolves through experiences, influences, conscious effort. A person born into disorderly habits may initially lack faith to live a structured life. However, exposure to disciplined individuals and witnessing the fruits of their efforts, Mahatmas we say, ordinary people, we don't feel Mahatmas means not big word. Anybody who is leading such a disciplined life slowly influences us. Then instill a new faith in orderliness, commitment, excellence. This refined faith then reshapes their personality and actions. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes that faith conforms to the nature of the mind. A sattvic mind naturally develops faith in truth, duty, higher ideals. Rajasic mind gravitates towards ambition, passion, external success, while a tamasic mind undergoes faith in laziness or ignorance. Hence, refining the mind is key to refining faith. Faith is nurtured by the company we keep and the influences we absorb. A person in a disciplined environment develops faith in diligence. A person surrounded by distractions and irresponsibility may initially lack this faith, but can transform when exposed to higher ideals. This highlights the power of association and conscious choice in shaping one's faith and ultimately one's destiny. Faith fuels effort, effort refines ability, refined ability strengthens faith. Continuous cycle of faith and potential. This cycle continually molds a person. If the cycle is positive, it leads to mastery and self-growth. If negative, it reinforces limitation and mediocrity. Recognizing this cycle allows one to consciously direct it towards self-improvement. Then the example. So today we so far covered about Sarvasya Jahamna, Srividam. Yes. 15th chapter, 1 shloka. 16th chapter, 1 shloka. 17th chapter, 1 shloka. Again we have to go through. Anyway, we will go through the 18 also. Always connect with the power behind the matter. Ishvara sarvabhutana hriddesh arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yandrarudhani maya. The Supreme Lord dwells in the hearts of all beings, O Arjuna, causing all beings by his elusive power revolve as if mounted on a machine. 5,000 years ago he was talking about machine, no? Yandrarudhani. The spark of life presiding over the body, the eternal pure consciousness, is that which as it were vitalizes the inert matter, spark of life. Pure conscious in itself does not act, but in its presence the matter developments get vitalized and act. The Atman, conditioned by the body, mind, intellect, expresses dynamism in action and creates what we recognize as the manifested individuality in each. Your consciousness in itself does not act, but in its presence the matter developments gets vitalized and act. Body, mind, intellect, and the various organs. The organs of action, the organs of perception, the 5 vital layers, mind, intellect, the sense of individuality, the 18. The Atman, conditioned by the body, mind, expresses dynamism and action and creates what we recognize as the manifested individuality in each. The energy in the piston comes from a deeper source, whether it is steam, fuel combustion, or electricity, fuel combustion. However, these are only mediums through which the true power manifests. Similarly, the body and mind are like the engine, while the spirit within is the true energy that enables all thoughts, words, and actions. Just as the piston moves because of energy, the mind functions because of the spirit within. If the mind is not refined, filled with impurities like ego and desires, it resists the flow of energy, just like a clogged piston hampers the engine. Fruit also you can put. The train in the body. The train moves because the engine is powered. Just as the body acts because of the life force within. But without awareness of the soul, the train may go, of course. Just as an unrefined mind leads to unrest and suffering. The energy running the train is not self-generated. It is derived from a greater power, whether fire, fuel, or electricity. Good old days, you remember the steam engine? The fire was,
Yes, Swamiji.
uh, and then diesel came, and then came electricity. Likewise, the body and mind do not function on their own. It is the divine spirit that enlivens them.
Sophistication.
Refinement through awareness. Just as a well-maintained engine runs smoothly, a refined mind purified by chanting God's name and dedicating actions to Him allows His energy to flow effortlessly. So this is how we come back. A well-maintained engine runs smoothly, a refined mind. A refined mind purified by chanting God's name and dedicating actions to Him allows His energy to flow effortlessly. So in the 18th chapter, through this particular Ishvara Sarvabhutanam chapter, 61st sloka, these thoughts have been touched and kindled and finally links us to the Nama chanting, to remember Him, to know the power behind everything. See how beautifully Papa is reading us. 18th chapter. So the second batch of 18 slokas, ultimately pointing out that the remembrance, through chanting and dedicate. Then whatever act we do, it's a dedication to Him. So just as a well-maintained engine runs smoothly, a refined mind, purified by chanting God's name and dedicating actions to Him, allows His energy to flow effortlessly. When we mistake the engine for the source, we remain bound to me and mine. But when we recognize that the Lord alone is the energy behind all action, we surrender and become instruments of His divine will. Constantly dwelling on this and relating to our thoughts, words and deeds will certainly lead us to this state. That when we chant, even if we chant for 5 minutes or 1 Ramana, if it is now fully soaked in this theme, then our move towards becoming aware of Him, it gets hastened. When we were going through the second batch, we were wondering how finally He takes us to this stage. An assurance by Him that you pursue, you improve your remembrance, style of remembrance by chanting His name. No matter whether you chant it throughout or not, remembrance should be constant. That aspect also, the Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu, in the 8th chapter, he beautifully brings it out. Now slowly, each chapter also gives us some idea. A quick glance of this 18, we may change it, but now at the moment. So these are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the chapters, okay? Be mindful of assumed personalities' influence in speech and action. Remaining untouched by outer influences. Be free from the sense of ownership. Recognizing the true source of all things lead to surrender. Action exclusively for freeing from me and mine. Treat your mind as your close friend. Recognizing core of our being leads to humbleness. Constancy is a must for success. Feeling is more important than the action itself. Patram pushpam bharatoyam. The magnitude of the infinite is evident even in the minutest. Be aware of the limitation of the puny intellect. Realize the absolute in the unseen, not in the seen. Identify the base while seeing the projections. Cultivate awareness of nature's variations to transcend them. Recognize the guiding force behind resilience and recovery. Be watchful lest temptations ignite our weaknesses. Faith must give way for trust. Always connect with the power behind the matter. Today one devotee has also said 18 points. Tomorrow we will try. So now we have got at least two sets of 18 points which have come out from 18 slogas, each sloga from each chapter. So we again keep on requesting you all, kindly do something. Not that you should report to us whatever you have unearthed, but we have to, it should introduce us to this process. That is important. Some devotees have sent us the email. They're very good. The purpose is to somehow set so that, and we always believe that this process will definitely help us to have the clear-cut mindset while we chant His name. Because we are now very clear it is for remembrance, remembrance and remembrance. Tomorrow we will try to go through the first 18 and the 18 points and what happens to us when we hear it. So those who have the set, you can kindly go through that and tomorrow you can tell us one by one. So that new dimensions might also come. You don't have to stuck with what we have written there. New ideas will come. Papa in one of his beautiful articles called what is that? Bring out your efficiency. He said, you should be the author of new thoughts. That means not that we are arrogating. No. He will make us to rediscover. He will make us to create new thoughts. That is what is called reflection, the result of reflection. Suddenly all that we enjoy today has come out from that process only. If the first individual human being, when he came to this world, if he had stood there where he was, we would not have reached this stage. So he made him move from one stage to another stage, to another stage, to another stage. Vinobaji used to say in his talks on Gita, it's always a process of evolution. Even in the spiritual disciplines. He brings it out through so many people. So we are all part of it. So tomorrow we will go through this first set and second set. And third set also somebody has sent that we will read it out. But we don't know the backup, which sloga has given him, then we will try to get it from him. And then, if we have got the 3 sets, it's a big boost. That means 48 points have emerged now. 48 points have emerged now. from this in-depth study. One or two definitely will help us to move forward. According to each one's taste, temperament, and preference and priority, one or two or three from each will definitely get stamped, and that will help us to move forward. Because we are not here to have the academic excellence. We are trying to go deep into this, refining ourselves, and move toward the goal of that fullness. Okay? Tomorrow we will see what is in store for us. Hayo. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Everybody is making an effort, you know.
Yes, yes, Swamiji.
Otherwise,
Yes, 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 Swamiji. Yes, yes.
Please.
Ayush, Ram, Ram. Namaskaram, Swamiji. Namaskaram, Swamiji. Hari Om Swamiji. Pranam, Swamiji. Pranam, Swamiji. Hari Om, Swamiji. Hello. Hello. How are you, Swamiji?
Oh,
How are you? Hello.
how do you feel?